Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to explore a pretty fascinating concept that's presented in this video we found.
Okay.
The four pillars of Agile.
Right.
And it's not just about software development anymore.
Yeah,
This framework can really apply to successful transformations in any field, really.
it really does. The video actually kind of frames these pillars as like foundational for building effective agile teams, but also for implementing AI ethically, which is, a huge topic these days.
Let's get right to it.
Yeah.
What are these pillars? Why should our listeners even care about them?
Well, they are context, mindfulness, respect, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of act as a framework to create a solid base for any kind of change, just like a foundation for a house.
Okay, so we're going beyond just the surface level Agile practices and tools here.
Right.
This is about creating a supportive environment where Agile can really thrive, right?
Absolutely. The video emphasizes that without this human-centric foundation, people are more likely to resist change.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's break each pillar down, starting with context.
Sure.
What does it even mean in this framework?
Well, think of it as like setting the stage, for collaboration.
Okay.
Context involves clear communication, shared understanding,
Yeah.
and well-defined goals. So, like, everyone involved needs to be on the same page about what they're working towards and why it matters.
So it's about defining the why behind any change.
Exactly.
If people understand the purpose, they're more likely to buy in and, contribute effectively.
Exactly. And having that shared context helps everyone to kind of see the bigger picture and understand how their work fits in.
Mm-hmm.
The video gives a really compelling example of pharmaceutical companies opening their labs for feedback from people outside their field.
Oh, that's surprising. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, it's all about gaining fresh insights and identifying blind spots.
Okay.
People outside of a specific domain can often ask really insightful questions precisely because they're not entrenched in the usual way of thinking.
I see. So sometimes you need a fresh perspective to challenge assumptions and push boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay. Context is clear. Let's move on to mindfulness.
Okay.
It sounds a bit Zen-like.
Yeah.
How does it apply to Agile?
Mindfulness in this context is about being aware of the impact of our actions on others and on the overall project or work.
Okay.
And it applies to both human interactions and our interactions with, like, AI systems.
So it's about considering the consequences of our actions and decisions,
Right.
especially in a rapidly evolving technological landscape.
Precisely. And when it comes to AI, mindfulness encourages us to use technology responsibly and ethically.
Mm-hmm.
The video warns against using AI for like micromanagement,
Okay.
as it can create a toxic and oppressive work environment.
That makes sense. Constantly being scrutinized by an AI would definitely stifle creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
So it seems mindfulness is key to ensuring that AI actually augments human work in a positive way.
Absolutely. And this principle also applies to how we communicate with each other. It's about creating a psychologically safe space where people feel comfortable sharing ideas and taking risks.
That brings us to respect.
Right.
It seems self-explanatory, but are there specific nuances to how it's defined within this Agile framework?
Yeah, respect in this context goes beyond basic courtesy.
Okay.
It's about valuing everyone's contributions,
Mhm.
fostering a culture of inclusivity,
Okay.
and ensuring that everyone feels heard and understood.
It sounds like respect creates a strong foundation for building trust, which is the final pillar, right?
You got it. The video highlights that trust isn't automatic. It's earned through consistent actions that are aligned with context, mindfulness, and respect.
Okay.
And because trust is fragile, it requires careful nurturing.
It's like a delicate ecosystem
Yeah.
that thrives when all the elements are in harmony.
Exactly.
What are the benefits of having a high level of trust within an Agile team?
Well, when trust is strong, teams are more likely to be transparent, collaborative, and innovative. They're willing to experiment, learn from their mistakes, and adapt to change, which are all, vital for success in agile environments.
So when people feel safe and respected, they're more likely to share their ideas, collaborate effectively, and embrace the iterative nature of Agile.
Yes.
It seems like a key ingredient for high-performing teams.
Exactly. And the video emphasizes that this applies to any team, not just those working with Agile.
Okay.
Trust is fundamental to any successful collaborative endeavor.
This is all incredibly insightful. Now, I'm curious to hear more about how these pillars translate into practical applications.
Sure.
Does the video provide examples of how they connect to specific Agile values, principles, and practices?
It does. It delves into how Agile values like transparency are deeply connected to these pillars.
Okay.
For instance, True transparency can only exist in a culture built on trust.
Right.
Without it, people hesitate to be open and honest, especially about, challenges or mistakes.
Yeah. That's a great point. Fear of judgment or repercussions would definitely hinder open communication and collaboration.
Yeah.
Does the video offer any real-world examples of this concept in action?
It uses the same example we discussed earlier with context.
Okay.
Pharmaceutical companies opening their labs to external feedback.
Okay.
It illustrates how this level of transparency requires immense trust.
Yeah.
They're essentially saying, we trust you to give us honest feedback, even if it's critical.
That's a bold move. It demonstrates a deep commitment to continuous improvement and a willingness to embrace diverse perspectives.
It does. And that level of trust fosters an environment where people feel safe to share unconventional ideas, which can lead to better problem solving and greater innovation.
I'm starting to see how these pillars are interconnected and mutually reinforcing.
Right.
They work together to create a culture where Agile can thrive.
Exactly. And the video emphasizes that cultivating these pillars isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process that requires consistent effort and attention.
So it's not enough to just talk about trust or respect.
Right. You have to actively build and maintain those qualities through deliberate actions and behaviors.
Precisely. And those actions should align with all four pillars: context, mindfulness, respect, and trust,
Okay.
to create a truly cohesive and high-performing environment.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've covered a lot of ground, but I still have so many questions.
Yeah.
Does the video delve into how these pillars specifically connect to various Agile practices and processes? For example, how does something like a daily stand-up meeting relate to this framework?
That's a great question, and it's actually addressed in the video. Daily stand-up meetings, which are, common in Agile,
Yeah.
are designed to foster transparency and communication.
Okay.
And as we've discussed, those are closely tied to trust and respect.
So when a team shares their progress and challenges openly during a stand-up,
Yeah.
they're demonstrating trust in each other to provide support and help move things forward.
Exactly. And the stand-up format ensures that everyone gets a chance to speak.
Which reinforces the pillar of respect by creating a space where all voices are valued.
It's fascinating to see how these seemingly simple practices are actually deeply rooted in these foundational pillars. It highlights the interconnected nature of Agile and the importance of fostering a supportive culture.
Absolutely. It's all about creating an environment where individuals can contribute their best work and feel valued in the process. But the video doesn't shy away from addressing the challenges of implementing this framework.
Okay.
It acknowledges that shifting mindsets and behaviors can be difficult,
Right.
especially for those accustomed to more traditional ways of working.
That makes sense. Moving away from hierarchical structures and top-down decision-making can be a significant change for individuals and organizations.
Yeah.
Are there any other potential pitfalls or misconceptions that teams might encounter when trying to apply these pillars?
The video highlights that respect, while crucial, shouldn't be misinterpreted as avoiding conflict at all costs.
Right.
Healthy debate and respectful disagreement are essential for growth and innovation.
Right. It's about finding that balance between being respectful and being honest, even when it's difficult.
Exactly.
How does the video suggest navigating that delicate balance?
It emphasizes the importance of self-awareness
Okay.
and emotional intelligence in fostering respectful disagreement. It's not always easy, but it's essential for creating a high-performing team. Building on what we've already talked about, it's not enough to just talk about Agile values like transparency and collaboration.
Right.
We actually need to create an environment where those values can, thrive.
And that's where these four pillars of Agile come in.
Yeah.
They provide a framework for actually cultivating that supportive environment.
Precisely. And what I find particularly insightful about this video presentation is how it connects these pillars to the complexities of integrating AI into the workplace.
Yes, AI is such a hot topic these days.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in the technology itself.
Yeah,
But as we've been exploring, the human element is equally crucial.
absolutely. And the video presentation emphasizes that if not implemented mindfully and respectfully, AI has the potential to create a rather dystopian work environment.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Paint me a picture. What would that dystopian AI workplace even look like?
Well, imagine a workplace where AI systems are constantly monitoring and micromanaging employees.
Okay.
So every keystroke email interaction is scrutinized and analyzed,
Wow.
fostering a culture of fear and distrust.
That sounds like something out of a science fiction thriller.
It does.
Not exactly the kind of environment where people feel empowered to innovate and collaborate.
Exactly. The video really stresses that a key principle of mindful AI implementation is to use it to empower employees, not control them.
So it's about striking a balance between leveraging the power of AI
Yeah,
while also respecting human dignity and autonomy.
right.
That seems particularly relevant as AI becomes more and more prevalent in our work.
Precisely. It's about using AI to augment human capabilities, not replace them entirely. Which brings us back to the pillar of respect and how that plays out in the context of AI implementation.
That's an interesting connection. How does the video presentation address that?
Well, it highlights the importance of considering the impact of AI interactions on human relationships.
Okay.
If we treat AI systems purely transactionally,
Mm-hmm.
we risk mirroring those patterns of behavior in our interactions with each other.
That's such a thought-provoking point. So by interacting with machines that lack empathy and emotional intelligence,
Right.
we might unintentionally dehumanize our interactions with our colleagues.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
could have a ripple effect, eroding the trust and respect that are fundamental to a healthy and productive workplace culture.
Like a cautionary tale,
Yeah.
reminding us to be mindful of the potential unintended consequences of technology.
Right.
Just because we can do something
hmm
doesn't necessarily mean we should.
I couldn't agree more. The video urges us to ask those critical ethical questions before deploying AI systems.
Okay.
So what are the potential impacts on employees? Are we using AI in a way that enhances human dignity or undermines it?
It's about being proactive and thoughtful,
Yes.
considering the long-term consequences, not just the immediate gains.
Right.
This reminds me of the first pillar we discussed, context.
Mhm.
How does that apply to this conversation about ethical AI implementation?
Well, remember, context is all about establishing a shared understanding of the goals,
Okay.
the purpose, and the potential impact of the changes we're implementing.
Right?
In the context of AI, that means being transparent about how these systems will be used and what the intended outcomes are.
So it's not enough to simply announce like the implementation of a cool new AI tool.
Right.
We need to clearly explain why it's being implemented, how it will be used, and what benefits are expected.
Exactly. And that explanation needs to be clear, transparent, and accessible to everyone who will be impacted by the change. We can't just assume everyone understands the nuances of AI and its implications.
This circles back to that excellent example from the video presentation
Yes.
about pharmaceutical companies opening their labs to outside perspectives.
Yes.
It demonstrates a commitment to providing context and inviting feedback,
Yeah.
even from those who might not have specific technical expertise.
Yes. That example beautifully illustrates the importance of recognizing that everyone has valuable insights to offer and that diverse perspectives can lead to more innovative and well-rounded solutions.
It also highlights the level of trust required to be open to that kind of feedback. You have to trust that those external perspectives will be heard and considered,
Yeah.
even if they challenge existing norms or assumptions.
And that trust, as we've discussed, is built upon the foundation of context, mindfulness, and respect. It's a continuous cycle of reinforcement.
I love how these pillars intertwine and support each other.
Yeah.
It's like weaving a tapestry of interconnected ideas that ultimately create a more human-centric and ethical approach to work.
It is. But zooming out a bit, why do you think this framework is so important, particularly in today's rapidly evolving technological landscape?
That's a great question. I think it's crucial because it reminds us that technology is just a tool.
Right.
The human element, our values, our interactions, our choices, that's what truly drives innovation and progress. And this framework ensures that we don't lose sight of that amidst all the excitement surrounding AI and other technological advancements.
You've hit the nail on the head. This framework emphasizes that technology should serve humanity, not the other way around.
Right.
It's a powerful reminder to align technological advancements with our values and aspirations for a better future.
Absolutely. It resonates deeply with the core values at the heart of the Agile Manifesto.
Yeah.
Prioritizing individuals and interactions over processes and tools,
Right.
valuing collaboration and responsiveness over rigid plans.
Uh-huh.
The 4 pillars provide a tangible framework for putting those values into practice.
Precisely. The video presentation drives home the point that these pillars aren't abstract concepts.
They have real-world implications for how we work, how we interact with technology, and ultimately how we shape the future. They offer a roadmap for navigating the complexities of our ever-evolving world.
We've been really deep diving into these four pillars of Agile:
Right.
mindfulness, respect, and trust,
Mm.
and how they kind of underpin not just Agile transformations, but also ethical AI implementation.
Yeah.
But how do these pillars actually manifest in real-world scenarios? Well, the video presentation that we're discussing actually features several compelling case studies that illustrate these pillars in action.
Okay.
One that really struck me involves a tech company that was grappling with a toxic work environment.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot of mistrust between management and employees,
Hmm.
and it really stifled innovation. They were struggling to deliver.
It sounds like they were at a breaking point. How did they manage to turn things around?
Well, they embarked on an agile transformation,
Okay.
but crucially, they went beyond simply implementing new agile processes and tools.
Okay.
They recognized the need to address the underlying cultural issues that were holding them back.
So they use the four pillars of Agile as a framework for cultural change,
Yes.
not just process change.
Precisely. They started by focusing on context.
Oh.
They held open forums and workshops to ensure that everyone understood the why behind the transformation
Okay.
and how it would benefit both the company and its employees.
It sounds like they were proactively building trust from the get-go,
Yeah.
which is essential for any kind of change management.
Absolutely. They also implemented practices to foster mindfulness,
Okay.
encouraging employees to be more aware of their impact on others.
Hmm.
They provided training on emotional intelligence and conflict resolution,
Okay.
and they created a system for recognizing and rewarding positive behaviors.
So they were actively creating a more respectful and collaborative work environment,
Yes.
aligning with those pillars of mindfulness and respect.
Exactly. And as these efforts took root, trust began to rebuild organically.
Okay.
Employees felt valued, and that led them to take more risks and share ideas more freely.
That's a fantastic example of how these pillars, when applied intentionally, can lead to tangible cultural change.
It is.
Did this cultural shift translate into tangible business outcomes?
It absolutely did. The company's work environment saw a remarkable improvement.
Wow.
And their innovation rates skyrocketed. They began releasing new products and features at a pace they hadn't seen in years.
That's incredible. It really highlights how investing in the human side of the equation can lead to significant business benefits, a point that often gets overlooked.
It's a critical point, and this case study isn't an isolated incident.
Okay.
The video presentation showcases several other examples of organizations successfully leveraging these four pillars of Agile to improve their work culture, boost innovation, and navigate the complexities of AI implementation.
Right.
These real-world examples offer a roadmap for others looking to embark on a similar journey.
These stories are truly inspiring. They reinforce the idea that a human-centric approach to technology is not just a nice-to-have. It's essential for building a future where technology empowers us.
I completely agree. The key takeaway here is that change is possible, but it requires a conscious and continuous effort to cultivate the right environment.
Right.
Focusing solely on the technical aspects of Agile or AI without addressing the human element will likely lead to suboptimal outcomes.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one message you want our listeners to carry with them?
The four pillars of Agile context, mindfulness, respect, and trust, aren't just for Agile teams. They're foundational principles for any collaborative endeavor, especially as we navigate this, ever-evolving landscape of AI in the workplace.
Right.
By embracing these pillars, we can build a future where technology enhances our humanity, not diminishes it.
That's a powerful message to end on. If this deep dive has piqued your interest, we encourage you to check out the full video presentation.
Yeah.
We've included a link in the episode description along with some other resources that you might find valuable.
And as always, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What resonated with you about the four pillars of Agile?
Yeah.
How are you putting these principles into practice in your own work and life? Share your insights in the comments or click those thumbnails down below, and let's keep this conversation going.
Until next time, keep diving deep.